Tonight, we are less than 40 days until the midterm elections, and it is possible the Keystone State of Pennsylvania could ultimately be the key factor in determining just which party controls the Senate come next January. And you may know him from his daytime TV show, but tonight, Dr. Mehmet Oz is trying to convince voters in Pennsylvania he's the right man for the job. We got a chance to run with him in his first network TV interview of the campaign as he races toward November.
We want to show America just how fast you are. As long as I can still see you when we're done.
2, 1, go!
It is an all-out sprint for Dr. Mehmet Oz in what's become one of the tightest and most consequential political races in the country.
We can do a lot better.
This heart surgeon,
so what do you do with the cell phone?
turned TV host,
I'm so happy to be with you guys.
Turned politician, is hoping to become Pennsylvania's next senator. He's trying to convince voters that he has the right prescription to solve the problems ailing the Keystone State.
How you doing, Dr. Oz? Linsey.
So on this crisp fall morning,
nice to meet you.
We met up on one of his favorite running trails.
You can go fishing in the Pennypack here.
In his adopted hometown of Bryn Athyn, Pennsylvania.
So you played football in high school. Are you a runner now?
I'll do whatever it takes to get me active. But the big issue for me, especially right now, is to stay healthy and limber.
Researchers analyzed 1 million online posts.
For the man known as America's doctor, first-generation Turkish-American, this race is personal.
Many people consider you to be America's doctor, heart surgeon, as if you didn't already have enough credits behind your name. Why did you decide to run for Senate?
You know, my father was an immigrant, born on a dirt floor in a faraway land. And when he landed in America, he realized this was truly a dream. My life is a living testimony to the American dream. I want everyone to have that, and I don't want that getting squandered away.
You would be the first Muslim in the U.S. Senate. How do you feel about that?
Pride and honor. And I think America, especially this Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, was built on allowing people of very diverse backgrounds to offer their best ideas, because all of us are smarter than any one of us.
You would also be the 5th medical doctor in the U.S. Senate. What is the prescription, if you will, for America's problems?
I'll give you an example. I think we have an opportunity to create a tax credit program in Washington that would allow parents whose kids today are forced to go to a particular school based on the income of the parent, to give those parents flexibility. And it's a smart way for us to guarantee that the most precious asset we have, our children, are protected.
Is that your first priority?
First priority is health care. Every American should have access to affordable care, but we've got to deal with the cost issues as well.
Recent polls suggest Oz is now toe-to-toe with his Democratic opponent, Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, who's trying to cling to a single-digit lead. Fetterman has been on the attack over social media, accusing Oz of being a carpetbagger after Oz moved here to Pennsylvania from New Jersey in 2020. His opponent has even enlisted the support of celebrities on Twitter.
What are you doing in Pennsylvania? Everybody knows you live in New Jersey.
Oz is quick to push back against that assertion.
What is the scuttlebutt about whether or not you live in Pennsylvania?
My residency is sort of a preposterous issue because I grew up just south of here, went to graduate school, business school and med school in Philadelphia. I had 2 kids in Pennsylvania, married my wife 37 years ago in the house we live in now, which was the best decision I made in my life. And we moved back a couple years ago. It's a deeper reality that in Pennsylvania, we don't really care where you're from. We care what you stand for. This is the mudslinging that they hope will distract voters from what's really important, which is the highest crime rate ever in our history. And if you go down to places like Kensington, the largest open-air drug market in America, people are scared. Businesses are shuttered.
After suffering a stroke in the spring, Fetterman has run a mostly digital campaign with limited availability to the press. But his critics and Oz argue that online quips are no substitute for proper discourse. With only one 60-minute debate scheduled less than 2 weeks ahead of the election, Oz says Pennsylvanians deserve more.
Explain kind of the delicate dance, the thin line that you have to play running against an opponent where there may be some health concerns.
I have tremendous empathy for what John Fetterman is going through. It's an area that I specialize in medicine. All these issues are challenges, especially if you're in the political arena, which is physically demanding. Focus on the voters, though. They have a right to hear my opponent articulate and defend his policies.
What would you say is your greatest strength?
I'm passionate. I really care about everything I try to do.
Biggest weakness?
I can be stubborn. As a surgeon, it's a problem because you want to make sure that you don't have blind spots.
This might be the hardest question of the interview. You an Eagles fan?
Big time Eagles fan. Gosh, they played well yesterday. Hurts so good.
Speaking of football, during our cool down, we attempt to tackle some of the hardest hitting issues of the day.
Do you support Lindsey Graham's 15-week abortion ban?
I'm pro-life, and I have strong sentiments about the exceptions, the life of the mother, rape and incest. I do not think the federal government should be involved in states' issues.
So you would not support it?
I don't think the federal government should play a role in telling states how to make decisions around some of these issues, especially sensitive ones, like those involved in the pro-life movement.
Their electrical changes at 6 weeks, but the heart's not beating.
2019 on The Breakfast Club, it seemed like you talked about potentially having some concerns about abortion bans.
If the litmus test is the heart's beating, they really make it the heart beating.
Have you evolved in that thinking?
No, it's the same thing I've said in there. On that interview, I said that I'm pro-life, and I have tremendous compassion for the difficulty of these decisions.
Oz has to walk a fine line, trying to win over independent voters in this key swing state, while also not alienating the type of far-right conservatives who hope Doug Mastriano will become the next governor of Pennsylvania.
What do you say to people like Doug Mastriano, who back in March was saying, oh, you know, we have tapes of him saying that he was pro-choice, that he supported abortion. How do you push back?
I mean, I'm proud of the things that I've said in my life. I'm consistent in them. I've been pro-life.
You have said that Fetterman doesn't follow the rules, hasn't paid his taxes. How do you square that with people who have the same criticism of Donald Trump?
You know, my major focus is to ensure that the voters of Pennsylvania are well informed about the two candidates they're going to pick from. Those two candidates are me or John Fetterman. You basically have two choices. Most of my criticism of John Fetterman are designed to educate voters. He should come out and defend himself.
You have been a big supporter of Donald Trump, obviously got his endorsement in this most recent allegations against him with the confidential documents at Mar-a-Lago. Your response to that?
Politics is a game of addition and multiplication, not division. I have lots of people endorsing me. Some of those people don't like President Trump. Many do. And I want everybody endorsing me. I want Democrats endorsing me, independents. I'm not going to limit who endorses me based on whatever's going on in their lives.
In listening to your priorities, your platform, if you will, you seem very moderate, but there are many people who have kind of labeled you as a MAGA Republican. Would you agree with that?
I think I'm a moderate leader, but not passive. I mean, I feel very strongly about the positions I have. I want to be able to bridge a gap that has become a chasm in America, one that has paralyzed our ability to move forward as a nation. And so I have strong feelings about the things that I think are important about America. I suspect that most Americans share those family values.
A sentiment he hopes will encourage voters to get him across the finish line first in the race to November.
I think that was like a tie.
It's a tie. Everything's a tie.
That was
With her, you
good.
can't beat her.
That was good. Really good.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.